A whole nation is waiting. For rice, the key to Cambodge. One bag, not much for a village.
Ban coประมาณไม่นู้เมื่อเขียนเนี่ยคือไม่นู้ก็
มีปัญหาอะไรเขาเชิญนะไอ้เขา
The country has just emerged from a nightmare beyond comprehension. The Khmer Rouge, under the leader Pol Pot, tried to impose their new socialist order with a ferocity and ruthlessness which has no parallel in modern history. When the Vietnamese army crossed into Cambodge, they found the country a charnel house. The Khmer Rouge probably slaughtered 2 million people, a quarter of the population. For 4 years, the Cambodian people suffered the tortures of the damned in a man-made hell. Today, much of Cambodge is silent and empty. The leftovers of the Khmer nation, inert and passive, beyond care, waiting for help. In his pursuit of the perfect socialism, Pol Pot had ordered the systematic extermination of modern science and technology. The doctors were the first ones to be killed. There are none left today. This dispensary tries to give help to 3,000 people. Empty shelves. The aid simply doesn't get through. The symptoms of the disease are duly recorded. Many are suffering from malaria, typhus and cholera. There is nothing to treat them with. The last shipment of pills arrived over a month ago and lasted for 3 days. Food is the only currency the country has. There's a silent concentration in the way these orphans eat. Those without a family are likely to remain dependent on foreign aid till they grow up. After such a meal, these children could wholeheartedly join in the celebrations that mark the anniversary of Pol Pot's defeat. Though fighting still continues in parts of the country, the new government is firmly established. The president, Heng Samrin, proclaims the coming year as one of reconstruction, as if now that peace has broken out, there's nothing to stop Kampuchea swiftly returning to normal. Of course, the government knows how hard it will be to revive the country. Whatever the problems, it is not prepared to let the Western aid agency help as much as they could, because that would mean to admit their own inability to cope. The speech echoes emptily through the capital streets, still piled high with the evidence of Pol Pot's crusade of destruction. The president found the foreign aid agencies worthy of mention, but he reserved his real thanks to the efforts by his fellow socialist countries. In fact, the communists have contributed the most aid. In Kampong Som, the country's only seaport, a Bulgarian ship is unloading Russian rice. The Russians have stationed 90 dock workers to assure efficient unloading.
Русский, Совет.
To house them, they brought a ship.
We come here to help these people in their trouble. Yes.
Some of the maize from East Bloc countries has been sprayed with insect repellent and is almost unfit for human consumption. Yet, it is food when one is hungry. But the basic problem for all of Kampuchea is right behind these walls. While the country hungers for food aid, the port is gorged, full up with sacks of rice and flour and maize that have gone no further than the quayside. These two warehouses hold 40,000 tons of cereals, enough to feed all of Kampuchea for 2 months. Of the 30,000 tons a month delivered here, only 8,000 tons reach the capital. Until recently, the government could plead a shortage of trucks. Now the West has given them 250 heavy-duty transporters. Until the government can show that it can get these trucks moving more efficiently, the major aid program run by the World Food Program of the United Nations has postponed some of its shipments of aid. John Saunders, who is the man in charge on the spot, has his views about this decision.
I think we have to continue with the shipment of food in order to prepare for this coming year.
Even if it isn't all getting there?
Even if it isn't all getting there now, because I am quite convinced we shall improve this distribution system in cooperation with them. And from our point of view, there is no other alternative. There is not some alternative in which you can say we will now pull out, take away the food, leave people who are malnourished to themselves. I don't think anyone would approve any such alternative. So as far as we're concerned, we intend to get on with the delivery of food, make sure it's done better, and improve the whole operation.
Even if the government can show it can get the aid to the capital, there are real difficulties about moving it to the countryside. To this village, aid doesn't come often, and when it comes, it is perhaps only 250 grams per head.
Distribution is not going well now. It has got to go better. We intend to make it go better in cooperation with the government. This has to be done so that in this coming 12 months, people will have enough to eat and will not go back to being malnourished again as they were in this last several years.
This is a convoy of Vietnamese trucks coming from the port and going to, well, that is a question. However, there is no evidence at all that the Vietnamese are diverting food aid for their own use for their army, or denying it to the people as a political weapon. Inevitably, the Cambodgean head of state is ultra-sensitive about criticism of the aid distribution. The president talks to Sister Van der Merch of a French aid society.
À l'extérieur, on dit l'aide n'arrive pas au Cambodge. Est-ce que pour vous, il vous semble que le pays reçoit de l'aide et est-ce que cette aide est suffisante ou est-ce que vous souhaitez qu'elle se fasse différemment?
Je demande formellement les expansionnistes chinois et des impérialistes américains et les autres réactionnaires qui calomnient sur la véritable nature du Conseil populaire révolutionnaire et qui disent que les aides qui parviennent Campuchia servent à un but de militarisme et une partie des ne parviennent pas à la population mais vont au Vietnam.
Hun Sen, the 29-year-old foreign minister, was even more virulent in his attacks of foreign lies.
Les paroles de Carter ne sont pas celles d'un politicien, mais c'est plutôt celles d'un voyou qui n'a rien compris. Même les parlementaires français qui sont venus ici, qui ont été bien reçus par nous, et ne sont pas des hommes politiques.
Above the hubbub of hungry children clutching at their food parcels, the foreign minister gave his opinion of what he really thought of the way the aid agencies from the West were conducting themselves.
Ask the minister what he thinks of the aid agencies that bring aid to Cambodia. What does he think about it?
ខ្ញុំសូមសួរលោករដ្ឋមន្ត្រីថាលោករដ្ឋមន្ត្រីមានយោបល់មិនដែរជាមួយជំនួយទាំងអស់ដែលជួយមកដល់ប្រជាជនកម្ពុជាហ្នឹងណាគឺចំពោះយើងខ្ញុំមានការអបអរសាទរចំពោះជំនួយទាំងអស់ដែលផ្ដល់ឲ្យប្រជាជនកម្ពុជាដោយគ្មានអមជាមួយនៅលក្ខខណ្ឌខាងនយោបាយ We are grateful for all kind of aid given to Cambodian people without any political condition.
Whatever political ties the foreign minister may wish to object to, he takes his new friend, the Vietnamese Vice President Nguyen Hu To, on a guided tour of Kampuchea's past greatness, the towers and temples of Angkor Wat. The Vietnamese guards stumble about like tourists anywhere. Today's visitors are only the latest in a long line of more or less welcome to leave their mark on Kampuchea. The flag of the young republic flies over the ancient symbol, but the question might well be asked, who is in charge along the Mekong? Where the larger Western agencies like UNICEF or the Red Cross have little room for maneuver, smaller ones stand a better chance. This dark and dingy factory, one of the very few to escape destruction, was silent when Guy Stringer of Oxfam found it. Now it is beginning to work again. With a relatively small investment, it supplies one of Kampuchea's most vital needs, fishing nets.
He said that for the workers, he promised that they will be complete work after 1 month.
1 month?
Yes.
Well, the fish in Kampuchea are enormous and the catches are potentially large, but there are no nets. We're bringing nets in from Singapore as fast as we can, but it's obviously much better to stimulate production here and get them made in the country. So we've managed to get 5 machines going now. The technical director has them on 2 shifts, and we're making 20 kilograms of net each day on 5 machines. I think it's one of the best and most imaginative things Oxfam's ever done.
Another way that smaller agencies can operate is by overcoming the maritime bottleneck. They bring barges up the river directly to Phnom Penh. Sheer incompetence has kept this badly needed food tied up along the quays for the weekend.
Plastic factory.
Ministry of Agriculture. Yeah, they're not here at the present
Yes,
time.
they are not here.
Because they've had just had the big... I realize it was a holiday yesterday. They started at 7 o'clock. Have they done any unloading yet or not?
No?
Yeah.
Not yet.
When will they start?
They stand when the receiver are here.
And when will they come?
Come on, Ka. They are ready to come now.
I see. Oh, well, that's something. Yeah.
Why are they not working?
Well, they're waiting for the receivers to come. There's a slight delay because of yesterday's holiday. The dockers are ready and the cranes are ready, but it's just for the men who are responsible for receipt of the actual goods. And that's the problem. I'll have to chase round finding where the devil they are.
If food is money, it is also power, and the agencies get caught in an internal government struggle for control over the aid.
I mean, I've told them time and time again that the manifest is a very important issue. I mean, look what we've got here. We've got hoe heads, soybean seeds, fertilizer, all for the agricultural ministry. But they failed to add to that. What else, Scotty? Hand sprayers, which should be there.
And also rat poison.
Rat poison. Because the rat poison is terribly important. Now, there's 500 metric tons of rice. There's the sugar and the oil. That's 700 tons of food. So that's all right. The forklifts, because they stay in the port here, don't they?
The medical authorities are the least able to cope. Their system has broken down completely. In the provincial capital of Kampong Cham, there isn't a single doctor. With the medical student in charge, the hospital is as filthy as the Khmer Rouge had left it. There is a positive side to the giving of aid. Not all of it ends up in warehouses. It is invariably one individual's relentless drive to make it all happen, to get it to its final destination. Sister Françoise Vandermerche of the French Popular Aid Society is the prime example what one dedicated person can achieve. She delivers. This shipment to an orphanage, only 1 day's ride from the capital, had been lying in Phnom Penh for over a month. Sister Françoise came, she saw, she delivered. Simple as that. But she is the exception, and her society does not deal in the thousands of tons like UNICEF or the Red Cross. She does not go through government agencies and the endless delays. Also, she has good Vietnamese friends, which helps.
ឥឡូវសូមក្មួយផ្ទះដៃដើម្បីទទួលនៅមិត្តយើងដែលបានមកហើយក្មួយចាំថាខ្ញុំសូមអរគុណចំពោះមិត្តដែលបានមិត្តមកសួរសុខទុក្ខដល់យើងទាំងអស់គ្នាក្មួយថាទាំងអស់គ្នាដែរមើលដែលមិត្តបានមកសួរសុខទុក្ខដល់យើងទាំងអស់គ្នាចាដៃ
Il est né dans la forêt.
Il est né dans la forêt.
Il est né dans la forêt. Qu'est-ce que vous faisiez, vous? Qu'est-ce que vous faisiez sous Pol Pot?
Planter du riz.
Planter du riz? Dans la forêt ou dans la campagne?
Oui, elle a dit que tous ses enfants sont exterminés. Son âge atteint 70.
70 ans. Elle a rasé ses cheveux, c'est signe de deuil.
Elle est comme ça pendant qu'on a pris ses enfants.
Ses enfants. Elle a rasé ses cheveux parce qu'on a pris tous ses enfants.
Quand on rase les cheveux,
oui, c'est signe de deuil.
Her final reward. She is loved by the people. Exhausted as the people may be, the Cambodians are not starving at this moment. Most still live in the countryside where the first harvest has just come in. It is not good, but at last it gives them a chance to start living on their own resources, rather than to have to depend totally on foreign aid. The question is, how long will this last?
I have been traveling around to at least 10 provinces. I have seen places where about 4 million people are living, and the harvest they are getting varies quite a lot from one province to another one. In many places up north it's awful. They get sometimes down to 10% of the yield they normally will get. I will say that for sure in April sometimes there will be no more rice or no more food in Cambodia, and it will be necessary with a very great input.
En ma qualité de secrétaire général de Croix-Rouge du Cambodge, je pense que la Croix-Rouge internationale a une importance pour nous, pour les Cambodgiens qui sont en train maintenant à restaurer le pays. Et comme l'aide est efficace aussi pour la survie aussi de la population qui reste encore dans l'état maladif et sous-alimenté.
The problem is this: all the facts, and I've probably travelled more around the country than many, point to the truth that in April to May, it could be earlier, this enchanting land with these fabulous people are going to be desperately hungry. The harvest is appalling. The fighting delayed much of the planting, and what has been planted has had a very bad weather. So come May, we shall have a long struggle, and all the world will, to feed the people of Kampuchea until, thank God, and grace for decent weather, the harvest comes in next December.
J'ai perçu plus encore combien le peuple cambodgien avait souffert dans sa chair, dans son cœur, dans son âme. Et on n'est pas prêt de guérir toutes ces blessures. Et je pense que nous, Occidentaux, qui n'avons rien fait pour le libérer de l'esclavage de Pol Pot, nous avons maintenant le pouvoir de l'aider dans sa reconstruction.
Kampuchea will need plenty of aid to survive. Are the obstacles to the distribution of aid proving too great for the aid agencies to accept? For 5 years, the world ignored the plight of a people, let the homicidal regime annihilate a nation. That we now turn once more our backs on them? The key may very well be the Khmers, omnipresent, the real power. Whatever they may care about their socialist brothers, the Khmers, they will care about being held responsible if the aid does not get through. The blame will be theirs if Kampuchea starves.